Okay, so this is looking into the corner of my bedroom where the bed is pushed into. It's a pretty small room. The TV is on, but even with the TV off, I see the same patterns and movements, so it's not caused by the TV, although the color will change. Here's an interpretation here of some eyes that appeared on the wall, at least as I interpreted it as that, or at least now. Keep in mind that even if you don't interpret anything out of this noise, keep in mind I saw it with my eyes unaided without the use of a camera. I don't enjoy spending my time pointing the camera at walls for, hours and hours, a day, over years. I don't enjoy that at all. Keep in mind that I have also seen these lit up as 3D holograms, almost like a neon sign, but not quite as bright. Obviously, I didn't have my camera with me at the time. That's when they usually show me the best examples of these projected holograms. But I saw it when I was walking in 2017 near the Grove, and one looked like the icon for the bathroom sign, the men's bathroom, but in a running position, and one looked like a bicycle. And the running man was in a stationary position, but I was able to walk around it, and the bicycle glided past me down the street. I literally saw it coming down the street, and then I was on the sidewalk next to the running man, and it went right past me. And I'm not a liar. I wasn't on anything. I'm not suffering from 24/7 psychoses. When I first noticed this twack, as they call it, or this projected twack, this projected noise, keep in mind I don't always see animations in it. I usually don't. It usually just makes it seem like my eyesight's bad. But it appeared when I looked at the walls at the Studio 6, it appeared like the walls were kind of fuzzy. And what I mean by that is, if you've ever worn contacts before or worn glasses, it was like I had one contact in and one contact out, where it was in focus, but at the same time out of focus. And that's why I started taking video of it, to try to understand like if my camera was noticing it as well. And then one night at the Studio 6, when I was watching the TV, or sitting in bed staring at where the TV was, to the right of the TV, there was a silhouette of a man and woman like dancing, and like one was like hula hooping or yo-yoing afterwards, and so it was like a shadow silhouette show. And I was like, I had no idea how they did that. I didn't know if there was like a person in the other room. They made me think that there was a projector in the other room with like some sort of like infrared rays, even though infrared can't go all the way through walls. You can only go like a couple of centimeters. You can use it for finding leaks and things like that. See temperature differences, but it doesn't go through walls and it doesn't go through glass. So I don't understand. I still don't understand how this is possible. And but they made me think there was like a projector in the other room with like an infrared light, or just a light of infrared, and that there was like a man and a woman like standing in front of it between the wall and the projector, to the room adjacent to me. So they like to do that. They like to do things like that. They like to get you paranoid and thinking that the people next door to you are fucking with you, or people in your life are fucking with you or talking behind your back. That's why George thought he heard me talking behind his back. They had me on a soundboard, and so he did hear my voice talking about him behind his back. But I've never talked behind his back, and I would never do that. I don't talk behind people's backs. And I certainly would have nothing bad to say about George. I was very happy that he'd moved in with Frank. And this was like, I don't know, 2014, 2015. Uh, and I didn't understand why he was going crazy, and kept thinking people were talking behind his back, and he kept hearing voices when there were none. And now I understand, because a year and a half later, I started hearing people on a soundboard, and then he was added to it as well. And they have all of his catchphrases and all his mannerisms, as well as like most people that like hundreds of people that I've known personally, or certainly over 100 or over 50, I don't know, but like they've done so many of them, from going back as far as high school, and even further perhaps, I can't remember. Middle school, junior high, and they keep showing me pictures of people that like I might have been friends with, and they're claiming that like, ooh, that's a picture of someone. Like, how would we know that? You don't even remember his name, and we're going to remind you of his name, and we actually know exactly where he lived and where his house was, because your dad told us or you told us, and then we figured it out by doing a house search and blah 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 and all this research. And they even show me pictures of people that I have no idea like who they are or if they resemble someone. Sometimes they do. I don't bother giving them feedback on that because they already seem to have all the answers. And they keep telling me that they hypnotized me with that drug that they used on Vice News to get all this information. But a lot of it because they've been spying, into my around me and around the people around me for like 6 to 10 years. They even claim to go as far back when I started at EMDs in 2004, in June of 2004. And they claim that they were the reason why Earl Riddell had a mental block for like 9 months, and that they were the reason why Jenny was confined to a motorized wheelchair for about a month. And she still has no explanation for it, but she thinks it was due to silicone implants that um, uh, Uh, but they like to do things like that. They'll give you a migraine and then like you'll take an Advil for it, and then they'll slowly make it go away. And to most people, they don't announce themselves, and so it'll be like, oh, so you had a migraine or a headache, and then you took some Advil and it went away. So obviously, it wasn't people with an electrolaser beaming that on you. So obviously, you can't tell that to people because you should sound like you're fucking crazy. They do stupid shit like that all the time. Here's some more interpretations here. Again, keep in mind, I saw this noise even with the TV off, even in the daylight, even at nighttime. I saw this wiggling, this movement, these shapes, these faces. Sometimes, I wasn't able to make out any content in them. Quite often, I was not. I was only able to make out just, some wiggling noise or some moving noise. And I saw it with my eyes unaided, without the use of a camera. That is the very reason why I pointed the camera at it. I think you can see in the middle of the area there, it kind of looked like there was a face there, and there again. And I would advise that you keep pausing it and looking at each frame individually. But here's some more interpretations here. Again, if this was camera noise, you wouldn't see these types of shapes on the wall. It would look grainy or splotchy, but it wouldn't have like repeated patterns of things that look like eyes. And many of the times, the eyes have irises. And again, I've seen these lit up as 3D holograms, almost like a neon sign, but not quite as bright. I was able to walk around one of them, and the other one like glided past me down the street, being projected from a drone above. They also use this twack as camouflage for the drones because you can't use your flash. It's like using your brights in a car in the fog.